Hello everybody, and to my brothers and sisters, the peace of the Lord be with you. My name is Misael and welcome to another English Fluency video. Because the Holy Supper is approaching, I wanted to make and put together a video with some tips with common phrases and words that are generally used around this time that should be especially helpful to those who preach in English or translate to English. These phrases and words are in no particular order, but I did want to start with, I think, the most important tip, which would be to read the parts of scripture that are going to be used most often. Off the top of my head, I can think of a few. 1 Corinthians 10:16 through 21, 1 Corinthians 11:17 through 33. Both of those talk about getting ready for the Holy Supper and partaking in the Holy Supper. The reason you want to read those is so that you have a good understanding when the verses are used of the context and the way that the phrasing addresses some of the words that you're going to hear either in Spanish when you're translating or that you want to use so that you're using the correct verbiage. And then Matthew 26:17, which is the Lord instituting the Holy Supper, and John 17, which is a passage referenced often during the Holy Supper feast. So the following words and translations are just the ones that I could think of that are used most often. And I'll start with comunión, which is simply communion, but is also translated as fellowship many times in scripture. Fellowship is a very good word to use because it's easy to understand as well. Esposa del cordero is the bride of the lamb. Luchas or pruebas, struggles or trials. Vencer is to overcome. And then some Old Testament references. Hierbas Amargas are bitter herbs. Levadura is leaven. La Pascua is the Passover. Las Artimanas del enemigo, deceitful plots, ruses, or schemes. As long as you're kind of referencing the evil there is to it. Gethsemane is pronounced in English Gethsemane. Golgota in English would be Golgotha, but it's harder to understand, and that's the Hebrew name for that place. In English, it's translated to Calvary. So if you hear Golgotha in Spanish, in English you could say Calvary. It's the same place. Judas Iscariote, the betrayer, would be Judas Iscariot. Acepcion is to show partiality. I've heard Acepcion sometimes translated as exception, but that's the opposite. Acepcion is to show a group of people partiality or to be biased towards them. Partir Pan would be to break bread. Jesus Christ broke bread with his disciples. Copa is just cup. Juicio is judgment. Fruto de la vid is translated as fruit of the vine in scripture. Vina would be vineyard. And then some very basic ones. La Cena del Señor is the Lord's Supper. Fiesta, you want to translate as either feast, celebration, or banquet. Avoid party. Fiesta, feast, celebration, or banquet. Panes sin levadura, unleavened bread. And then these are just some words to know. Consecration, new covenant, which is for Nuevo Pacto, reconciliation, and Mount of Olives. I would also suggest going to Merriam Webster whenever you're having trouble pronouncing names of places or names of people in scripture, because the Merriam Webster online dictionary actually has the audio for a lot of the names. I think it's very helpful to learn how to pronounce them. If any of this helps, I'm glad. And if you want to leave anything in the comments to contribute to words commonly misinterpreted or misused, please do so. I hope that we can get some sort of reference in this list or in the comments. I think most of these things will also be listed in the description of the video in case you want to go back and see any of them at any time. And lastly, I also wanted to say my wife is helping me with some of the hymns for the Holy Supper, so we want to try and get those posted as soon as possible as a reference point as well if you want to use them. Well, till next time, God bless you.